Hi, everyone. I'm Barbara Swells, the Client Success Manager for Sage 100. Thank you for joining our Lunch and Learn today, Connected and Protected with Sage Network. I'd like to introduce you to Tammy Turner, one of our Sage consultants who will be our presenter today.
Thank you, Barbara. So I will go ahead and get started. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on your lunch hour. So what we would be talking about today is a feature called Sage Connect. So what is Sage Connect? Sage Connect is an integrated feature of Sage Network designed for Sage 100 users. It connects to your Sage 100 environment with a secure cloud-based platform. And what it does is digital invoice delivery, real-time customer self-service, and automated AR workflows. So we're going to be demonstrating some of that today as well for you. So when we think about AR, what are our challenges? It says the challenge, but there's a lot of them, right? So the challenges that we face with AR and collections are that the traditional AR processes, excuse me, are manual and time consuming. The collection process, the invoices are often printed or maybe emailed, but this can lead to delays and errors. And customers are frequently contacting the AR teams for payment status or payment updates and invoice copies and statements. And there's limited visibility into the invoice status and payment trends. So a little bit about how Sage Connect works. So on the Sage side, invoices and credits and payments are generated in Sage 100. When connected to Sage Connect, this information, these transactions are sent digitally from Sage to Sage Connect. There is a automated syncing process that is set up for this to occur, for that information to be transferred from one to the other. The customers access the invoices and statements via this secure portal. And we're going to take a look at what those different views look like for your view versus your customer's view. The customer activities, such as the views and the payments and the access by the customer, is also viewable on this portal by yourself. And there's also a messaging system available. So the results are the real-time visibility and automation without making any changes to your ERP. This is a seamlessly integrated feature that Sage has available. So what are some of those key features? The customer portal. It's a secure self-service access to invoices, credits, payments, statements, everything that the customer would need in order to be able to make payments to your customers, or to your company for their outstanding invoices. There's an e-invoicing process. There's a digital invoice delivery and tracking with automated notifications, which is another feature I'll be showing today. The real-time sync is the Sage activity that gets updated to the Sage Connect portal. This happens in the background seamlessly. This is something that we help you set up in the beginning, and you can choose the intervals of time that the data is syncing from your Sage 100 to your Sage Connect. There are workflow automation available in the Sage Connect. So this reduces the manual AR tasks and data entry errors. And there's analytics and insights. So it tracks the invoice engagement and the customer behavior, the payment behavior, and also their interaction with the portal. You'll be able to see that as well. And it offers that security, that Sage grade encryption and access controls. So I'm not sure I want to show you this yet. Yeah, I guess we could. So we could talk about the benefits to your organization. So what this will provide is faster payments. Customers have updated and receive and act on invoices sooner, therefore leading to an improved cash flow. So there's a shorter days sales outstanding and a quicker collection cycle. There's reduced manual work for your team, so there's less paper handling and fewer data entry issues. It enhances the customer experience via that self-service access to the portal. And it lowers the support load that is necessary from your team. And I guess one of the best things, well, not the best thing, but there's modernization without migration. These cloud capabilities will happen seamlessly and it's layered onto your Sage 100 platform. So what we're going to do at this point is I'm actually going to switch to the application itself, and I will be backtracking to show you a few things about the syncing process as well. But I want to show you how you will log in to your portal. So I'm going to move this just a little bit because I can't get to my Sage network. Okay, so what you are seeing here when you initially log in is you're seeing the home page. So think about the home page as kind of a dashboard. So what you're looking at is a few what we call widgets, right? So these are some key analytics as it pertains to the Sage Connect portal. So the areas that we see here are the automated messaging activity. So this lets you see how many messages have been sent and the upcoming automated messages that will be sent. Excuse me. In the next widget, you'll see the aging report. If I click on any of these informational data fields that you see here, it will actually take me to the detail behind that information that you see here. So I'll click on this really quickly, and what you will see is it actually takes me to a detailed customer transaction view that shows all of the invoices there that are in a payment status of overdue 91 plus days. So I'll go back to demonstrate that capability again. I have this outstanding category down here. So the status of these invoices is simply an outstanding, and the difference between that and the view that we just saw is these invoices are not quite due yet, so they're just in an outstanding status. All right. So the next view that you have available to you up at the top here is the My Network. The My Network view is kind of a summary view of all of the customers that have outstanding invoices. So there's a couple of things to note here. There's a lot of content on this particular tab. It is showing customer by customer the total account balance, the amount that is overdue, if there is any amount overdue, and it shows the number of open invoices that they have. It also shows, if you look over here, the portal status for each one of these customers. So what you'll notice is there's a number of these customers that I have not yet sent an invitation to the portal. And then I do have one of which I basically just set up for test and for presentation purposes, where I sent out an invitation. And once the invitation was accepted, the portal status is now changed to active. If there's any issues with the invitations that are sent, you'll get this message bounced. And then you'll also notice if you hover over these icons, then it actually takes me to an option to automatically send a new message to Orange Door and Window. And when I click on the new message option, it gives me a number of templates to choose for this customer. So we will go into the templates. The templates are fully editable. And as I mentioned before, there is a series of emails that can be sent, and some of those are actually applicable to an actual workflow. And then others are actually not necessarily applying to a workflow like a collection process, but they are separate but necessary messages, such as you have an expired link or sending a new portal link, or maybe verifying your customer contacts. Okay, and we'll show a little bit more about that functionality later. So let's look at the My Network view that we have here. And another thing you will notice is it is fully filterable. There are a number of filters that are available to us on this particular view to help us manage all of the data. Because in all reality, you're looking at a very small sampling, a small company, but yours is probably going to be a much larger data set of customers and invoice balances. And you need a way to be able to manage that. And that can be a bit of a challenge. So we have multiple filters up at the top here in this view. We have those that we can filter by their aging, either overdue or account balance. We have portal visits and portal access. And then we can also filter by these criteria related to contacts. If I click on this option here, I can do a search. So I do have the option to, click on the filter and I can filter by customer. And then I can actually kind of do a smart search, if you will, because I want to see everything, or I just want to see Maverick, and I'm going to apply the filter. And then basically it filters out to show only my Maverick customer. From here, I can actually clear the changes and it will go back to my original view. So it's pretty easy, usable filtering options. And you'll also see customizing the table. So that's basically going to customize what I want to see in this particular view. And I can also freeze the columns. I can freeze up to 5 columns so that when I'm scrolling down, I am actually always seeing those particular data fields. So you notice that currently I have everything that is available displayed, but I can simply toggle this switch right here and turn that off. Then save the table, and the currency is now no longer in my this particular view. So I'm going to switch around just a little bit because I think settings are also important. So I want to point out some of the things that you're seeing at the top of the screen in addition to these various tabs that you can go into. So there is a notifications. So this will give you any unread notifications that you have received from the portal. It indicates that actually who you are logged in as, and we'll talk about how you add your individual company users as well. This is a multi-entity environment, so you can add one or all of your Sage 100 companies to Sage Connect. And then from the resources, of course, you'll have the knowledge base and a couple of other options that you see here. This is kind of a global feature, if you will. So it's available in multiple different languages. You can set your own language, but you can also set the preferred language for your customer contacts. And then in the upper right-hand corner here, you're actually seeing the synced status. So it provides an update of the last time that your data was synced from Sage 100 over to Sage Connect. Okay. So I am going to switch over to the settings for just a second. And when you log in and you're setting up your portal, you're going to make some decisions here about the setup of Sage Connect. There's a couple of different options that you have, and of course you can edit these. By default, the profile of your company is actually going to be the registered company name as it appears in your accounting system, but that is editable. You can actually change the display name, the name that customers will see when they receive emails or when they log into the portal. Another option that you have available to you here is actually displaying banking details in the customer portal. And I'm going to show you what that looks like, but basically you're adding the option and directions for your customers to be able to submit payment to your bank. So you're adding your banking details here. Down at the bottom, it also has that synced company info. So it comes from your accounting and the updates will appear after your next sync. So that is your entity setting. When you go into the users option here in the settings, currently the only person I have added to this is myself. I was actually the main person to set this up, and that's why you see the star there. So what that means is when we go through this process and we set this up with you, that there will be like an admin user who set up the Sage account, and this individual will be the first one to log in and configure Sage Connect. This user can also add additional company users, which is a very simple process of just inviting the user to become a Sage Connect user. The messaging automation rules is what I talked about or mentioned previously, and those are the workflows. So there's two different workflows that we currently have that have multiple templates, email templates associated with them. And we'll look at the templates in a minute. So one of the workflows is invoice presentment. So this particular workflow is set up to automatically send new invoices to customers, and it delivers other additional emails based on the templates that are connected to this particular workflow. So all I have to do is go in and set the automation for that particular set of emails. So I'm going to do that here. And when I do that, I can actually deselect certain customers or add all customers. Configuration status, I'm going to configure certain options here. And then I'm actually going to configure the frequency from which this particular automation is initiated. So there's a lot of different options here as well. Okay. And so this particular automation here, and I'm just going to go ahead and enable it. So now you'll notice that the invoice presentation automation rules are enabled, as well as the payment due reminders. So I mentioned here that the multiple templates that you have available, and I want you to see what some of these will look like. The template list that you see here is filterable by the options here, or excuse me, the different types. Okay, so I'm going to filter by automation available. There are some of these that the automation is not available, which basically means that you would initiate those manually. Some of those that you'll see are actually the expired link, the portal link, the verification of contacts, and an overdue reminder. The automation, if you were to click on this, when you think about it, so basically this is part of the payment due reminders workflow. So I'll go back to that for just a second. So we've got a payment due reminders workflow, which is going to be things like the invoice second reminder for multiple invoices, invoice overdue. So there's a set of those emails that will follow the rules of the messaging automation that we just saw that we had multiple options to set up. Okay. here is also where you would edit those messages. So for example, I'm in the template invoice coming due. And a couple of things that you'll notice here is there are some merged fields, okay? But this message is editable, all right? So you can actually change the subject. You can add additional details here. You can add merged fields. You can change the verbiage in the body of the email. You will also notice that it picks up on your signature. And I didn't get to signature yet, but basically this is your email signature. And then the customer would actually see that this came from Tammy at Oasis KY. So your email address and actually your signature and logo can appear. You can fully customize your signature as well as the template itself. And then the data fields that are merged can be merged into this template. Okay. Once I've edited this template, I simply just saved the template. I didn't really add much on that one. But the editing process is fairly simple. You've got your signature here. So this is going to be your signature and logo to be included on all the messages. And then you've got your email notification. So this basically means I'm letting them know that, actually I'm setting the email notifications to receive notification to my email of when customers actually message me, when they message through the portal, and when there is a weekly summary of portal visits, and email me if the sync fails. And I've never seen the sync fail, but you have that option as well. So I'm going to backtrack for just a minute here. We were on the My Network tab, and this basically shows me a summary view of all customers outstanding versus the customer transactions. So I'm going to go back to this, and this particular view is actually showing all of my outstanding, overdue, depending on what I choose to view, and I'm going to choose to view all of them. Now I'm actually seeing all of my invoices. So remember, the filtering options here are relatively simple. I just need to click on the options at the top in order to be able to see the information that I want to see on the portal. If I click on one of these customers, just so you can see what it looks like to email something on the fly, I can actually I can see the messages that I've sent. So I have sent some messages to Maverick, and I'm going to show you what that looks like, because basically I had previously sent out an email to Maverick saying, thank you for your request for a copy of your invoice. So I will show you what that looks like as well. When the customer receives the email, that email, which I sent to myself, is going to look like this. So it says to me because I had to send it to myself. This would be to your recipient, okay? And this is the verbiage or the template that I used, and informed them, thank you for your request. Here's a copy of your invoice. Please find a copy and note that you can access from your customer portal using the link below, and it will always provide a link to the portal. It also informs them that it will expire in 30 days. When I click on this secure link, it actually takes me to the portal. So I want to just show you real quickly the view that your customer will see. And then we will actually wrap this up. I know I've given you a lot of content here today, but it will actually load this the initial time, and they will actually proceed to access the portal. And this is the view that your customer will see. So they are now seeing only their invoices and their transactions. And then they're also seeing their payments. There are no payments at this point, but they would be able to actually see payments. They can drill down into it as well. And here's the payment details that I spoke of before, where you could provide your banking details. All right. So this does feel particularly rushed, but I know that this was only a 30-minute lunch and learn. If you are interested in more content, if you are interested in implementing Sage Connect, it's a simple integration with your Sage 100 installed on your server, configuring your invoice delivery preferences, setting up the portal access for your customers, and training your AR team and communicating rollout to your customers. So why does this matter to you, and what are the benefits? Well, I just showed you the Sage Connect cloud-based feature is really the next step towards your automating your company's workflow and strengthening your financial efficiencies and cash flow. It aligns Sage 100 with Sage's connected cloud vision. It delivers the modern digital AR capabilities without replacing your ERP. And it positions your business for future Sage network enhancements. If you are ready to streamline your AR and you are interested in Sage Connect, please reach out to Barbara Swales, our Client Success Manager. We'll help you to identify your AR process pain points and pilot the Sage Connect with a few key customer accounts. And then you'll be able to see and measure the impact on cash flow and efficiency. I thank you all for joining today, and please reach out to Barbara if you have any questions.